UAL United Airlines. This is another top 10 stock. This is number 3. And we're going to take a look at balance sheets, at fundamentals, at some technical analysis, some cycles, all this stuff, draw some lines. And this is Brian Lewis with MMT Investing. Things just changed. So, 20. All right, so let's take a look at what they did. So the S&P did a little drop and a dead cat and a crash, and then did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then turned over. Okay, so the S&P did an ABC correction wave down off the top of the everything bubble. Then we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott impulse wave over here, and now the S&P is looking like another ABC correction wave down here. And so we've got United Airlines Holdings, which came down hard and stayed down for the most part. I just took a look at their balance sheet. Everyone says their balance sheet's terrible, and I just looked at it, and it's not that bad. It's about 2 gazillion cash to about 1 gazillion current debt. Cash to debt looks fine at the moment, and assets to liabilities is about even. The balance sheet's not scary up front. I would say the one thing to take into consider when you're talking about these airlines is that Warren Buffett just secretly dumped all of his airline holdings during this crash so far and has piled up more cash. So that makes me put a big question mark on the airlines as far as the fundamentals. I mean, the value investing fundamentals on these airlines is that it's just really expensive to operate them, and they're not making any money right now. So should see a big swing in that debt ratio happen pretty soon with these airlines. And Warren Buffett has just said that these airlines are just not a good value investment holding for right now. So he dumped 100% of all of them, and he did it in a way where he didn't have to report it to the SEC. So United Airlines, that one wasn't more than 10% of his portfolio, but what he did with his airline stocks is while this crash was happening, he got his positions to less than 10% so that he doesn't have to report his trades to the SEC for the rest of this kind of cycle, this down cycle. So we are in about a 3 to 4 month credit contraction down cycle. It's a little bit longer than that box I just drew. We're about halfway through a credit contraction down cycle right now. And generally in that type of cycle, you get a down and a bounce kind of movement in the general stock market. And this kind of travel and tourism stocks aren't a big one that a lot of people look at during a normal down cycle, but it's a huge one to look at right now because of the entire health situation. And I guess, yeah, let's do technicals. So all of the stocks are getting this kind of consolidation zone, and then today on open, they're getting this gap breakout. Friday or today, they're getting this gap breakout to the downside. And this looks like a bear flag entry into a consolidation zone. That looks like a bear flag consolidation zone. So a lot of the technical analysis are pointing out these bear formations where we're getting sort of island top reversals, parabolic reversals, double tops. We're getting a bunch of bear reversals on bear consolidation shapes in the technicals. And then in the cycle, we're just kind of looking in the cycle for a downturn and the bounce. On the Elliott level, we're looking for an A, B, C corrective wave down on the Elliots. So, and then the fundamentals for the airlines are, well, they look pretty rough, but now that Warren Buffett has dumped all of his airline holdings secretly without having to report them to the SEC, now everybody is asking, what does he know that we don't? Because this is even that's even a bigger thing than the normal fundamental stuff. You know, all the fundamentals people this entire time it's been going up have been like, oh, the fundamentals are terrible, and it's been going up. So it's hard to listen to all that stuff right now, but Warren Buffett, he knows the monetary system. He knows value investing better than anyone else. And when he says that there's a value investing problem with these stocks, not a little one, a dump 100% of all your shares problem at a loss. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's thinking that these things are going to get nationalized or if they're in risk of bankruptcy without a bailout or something like that. Um, but I think there's a whole lot of risk in these airlines. This is not financial advice. I'm just covering kind of the charts and the news. And Warren Buffett always smashes that like button when he comes by the channel to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. So, yeah, that's kind of the look at the airlines. Like, I personally am not interested in buying any stock that Warren Buffett just tossed in the dumpster. Like, that is just scary to me. And on the cyclical look, if we're turning down on the middle of the cycle, and then look for another bounce. So the height of these bounces with regards to the airlines might not be, I don't know what it would look like. Might not be very dramatic, but just trading a stock like this in a down cycle is just difficult, and it's not a spot where I'm looking to buy and hold things. And I just looked at GE, and I was pointing out that once we get out into like the June area over here, we should be getting a monetary expansion growth phase, completely different fundamentals after this current cycle ends. After the current credit contraction cycle ends and we get an expansion cycle, I think companies like GE are going to be great, but I don't know what to think about the airlines. Yeah, I mean, this could be a much longer term problem for all the airlines than another like a stock like GE that does energy and could see a big rally on a switch here. So I think they're down. I don't know if it's a good short because I would much rather try to short something that's up here that's going to pull down in the credit cycle than try to short something that's already down and is just kind of really hard to predict. But I just don't really like these airline stocks as a long or a short. I think it's just dangerous and kind of crazy right now. And when we get to this positive expansion phase over here, I still don't think these are going to be that interesting. There's just other stuff that should see a huge move up. Um, so that's kind of a look at the Warren Buffett and the airline stuff. And also, I guess for one, go check out my Warren Buffett videos because I go way more in depth on all of his value investing principles and why he's dumping these airlines. And I said he was going to dump all these airlines. I said that like 3 weeks ago. I knew he was going to do that. When he started getting his shares under 10% at a loss on the way down, I knew that he was trying to get out of those things without reporting them during the cycle. But he just came out in the shareholder meeting and he just told everybody that he did dump 100% of them. And I don't know where he dumped them. I wouldn't be surprised if he dumped them at a good spot, but um, I didn't see like the dates of when all those transactions happened and everything like that. But I mean, he owns, 10% of these airlines, huge positions in these airlines, and he just closed all those positions out, and he's holding cash now. And that is one of my main strategies. And I've been looking at these oil tankers. I've been looking at gold, sort of to trade in these credit contraction cycles because I think the gold and the oil tankers are really interesting on these up moves. So I can go over, um, if you go look at my oil tanker videos, I have more detailed analysis, or my gold videos about how to do longs in this kind of credit contraction cycle because the long positions are really tricky in this type of cycle. But once we get out into an expansion growth cycle, it's going to be a lot more like what people are used to investing in. Um, and that's a completely different type of investing that you would do in this type of environment versus this kind of down cycle. Um, so that's kind of a look. I'll mention the tankers. The ones that have been doing really good early are the crude tankers, which is Nordic American tankers, the NAT, or the DHT tankers, the double hull tankers, or Euronav, EURN, and TK tankers, TNK. That's their tanker division. Those are the crude carriers that have been doing really well through this entire crash. And they should also swing down on this next down move, but they should look really good on the next up. So, and gold should look really good on the next up. Gold and all the monetary assets look to be pulling down now also. So really everything is looking to pull down now. fundamentally, cyclically, Elliott waves, and then of course the fundamentals of the fundamentals right now are insane. I mean, we have these companies with massive debt and no profits that are sky high, and we have companies completely shut down from the health situation, and their stocks are up, and everyone has debt and no one has profit right now, and it's fundamentally is absolutely insane. Like the debt to profit ratios are insane, and Warren Buffett has been dumping things in and stockpiling cash the whole time that ratio has been messed up. That's like the Warren Buffett ratio. So this is a longer video than I meant to do on this one. Just looking at airlines, United Airlines here, UAL, and where good positions to get into this company are. And I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, this stock could bounce at some point, but it's really hard to pinpoint when it would do that. And I'm not interested in it personally at the moment. This is not investment advice. Please hit the like button and happy trading.